the last minute, even with Beth's connections to the commission. After all, she didn't even own a local business. A freelance writer, she dabbled with bitters and cocktails on the side. At the Riley house, the fourth stop on the home tour, and Samantha's station for the evening, the trio pulled around the back entrance. The 4-story Victorian mansion, one of only 2 original homes built by the developers of the Highlands neighborhood, sat perched at the top of a hill. There the White House towered like a benevolent king over the surrounding bungalows. Walking into the kitchen through the open back door, Samantha admired its gingerbread trim, which gave it a fanciful quality and softened its features. Samantha unloaded Beth's flowers and her bottles of homemade bitters and placed them on the counter next to the alcohol provided by the commission and trays of warming appetizers dropped off by a catering van still parked outside. She planned to make several batches of cocktails, with the bitters she'd intended to use as wedding favors serving as the star ingredient. Since each drink used only a dash or 2 of bitters, she would still have plenty of bottles to sell to the hundreds of guests attending the home tour. Her ingredients at hand, Samantha began mixing and muddling large pitchers of attorney's privilege, a rye-orgeat combination brightened by her special bitters. The rose-colored concoction, poured into a chilled coupe glass, hit the right notes. Not too sweet, not too bitter, but smooth and tasty. For guests who didn't enjoy the brown stuff, Samantha mixed pitchers of cherry gin fizz, which would show off her bitters' versatility. The bright pink drink, with its crown of foamy froth, tasted as festive as it appeared. After prepping the cocktails, Samantha prepared garnishes with the tiny white and pink phlox blossoms picked that morning from Beth's garden. The flowers would add a slight spiciness to cut the sweetness of the drinks and promote the elegant garden party theme. "Everything looks beautiful, Sam." Marissa laid out the last of the glassware and took a sip of a gin fizz. "And tastes delicious." Their preparations finished, Beth, who occasionally worked with the Historic Commission, insisted on giving Marissa and Samantha a tour of the home. The owners, who lived most of their time in a palatial loft downtown, rented the home out for weddings and other special events, but always allowed it to be included in the Commission's annual home tour. The 3 women began at the front entrance, where the library tower at the top of the house reminded Samantha of widows' walks seen in Victorian homes in the Northeast. She imagined a lonely ship captain's bride pacing the length of the tower on the lookout for her seafaring husband. "At least she has some hope. I know Greg won't be coming back." She shook her head as if to shake the bad thoughts from her mind and followed Beth and Marissa into a lovely garden abounding with distinct colors and textures. Beth pointed out sunflowers, foxglove, and ranunculus blossoms and explained that the garden bloomed at all times throughout the year. The 3 women walked around the wraparound porch, already twinkling with fairy lights, and headed toward the front entrance. The home opened into a grand foyer with rich green velvet drapes and delicate floral wallpaper. The adjacent parlor was smaller and cozier. A short hallway led to the dining room, which featured a hand-carved oak table and a music room to the left, outfitted with a grand piano and a golden harp. Finished with the tour, the 3 friends walked back into the kitchen to make their last preparations. As Samantha stirred her final batch cocktail, a tall man with wavy salt and pepper hair and a 200-watt smile sauntered into the kitchen. It was Bob Randall, president of the Historic Commission.
"Oh, Beth, there you are, and these must be your friends."
Bob offered Samantha a firm handshake.
"Everything looks great. We appreciate you filling in on such short notice."
Samantha pegged Randall as a rye drinker and offered him the attorney's privilege. "Care for a cocktail?"
"Delicious."
He downed it in one gulp.
"Now, pardon me."
He left the kitchen to open the doors for the first patrons. Guests wandered into the kitchen to grab cocktails and snacks as they made their way through the rest of the house and out into the garden. The drinks were a hit, and the bitters were going fast. By 7, Samantha had already amassed enough tickets to fill a julep cup. As each ticket was worth $8, she had already recouped her costs and hoped to turn a small profit. By 7:30, Samantha couldn't keep up with the demand. The waitstaff, who carried trays of drinks and appetizers through other parts of the house,